Hey guys, so let's start the talk. Now, I said to you earlier that we were going to start. I don't know if I want to make this a series or not because it doesn't need to be a series because it's short and it's not something you want to get into for a long time. Now, I'll just talk to you about what I went through and how I went through it. This isn't an instruction manual. This isn't something like what you're going to go through. This is how you deal with it. This is what I went through and how I dealt with it, and pick up stuff that you may want to use for any other situation, or, you know, what you went through. Talk to me about it, please. Feel free, respond. Talk to me. We'll talk more. It's not just me and Dad and I doing movie reviews and talking about, me growing up and his flirting and stuff like that. It's life. And this is, I don't even know how many steps it is. I wrote down stuff. I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wrote down like 7 steps that I went through, but these are the basic steps of, kind of mourning and the issues that you go through with a divorce and a separation. And this is what I went through. This one's going to be anger. And the issue about what happened between us was that I was angry that I felt I was being blamed for something I couldn't control, which in this case was my disease. For those who don't know, I have MS. I was diagnosed in '99, which was like within a year of my wedding, which was of the following year of '98. It was May. So throughout all that time, I was going through just everything. But anyway. And I was angry that I felt I wasn't given the support I needed because I was going through something I never, ever dealt with before. And sometimes the support I didn't want, I'll just say him, and I'll be referring to my ex. I didn't want him to be there, hold me, console me, say, "Oh, I'm with you, hon, I'm with you. I'll do whatever you want." I wanted every now and then just like, "How you doing? Are you okay?" He just cut me off. That's what I felt happens. I'm sure he's going to argue it, and I'm sure he has issues about it, but I'm just giving you my point of view of everything that happened. Now, mind you, I am not totally, guilt-free of this whole thing. I'm sure, like, based on what was going on, I did tons of stuff that I'm not, that made him react the way he did. And that caused a lot of what happened. But this is my angle on the whole situation, on what happened, that, it didn't even lead to our divorce. We were divorcing at this time. But I'm just giving you the steps of our separation into our divorce, into where I am right now, talking to you guys. So there was anger. I was angry at him for the lack of support, the lack of dedication. Love was never an issue. And just angry. It was like, what did I do? I was constantly blaming myself. And that's where we lead to the next step. What did I do? Why didn't I, because MS is such a non-visual disease, whereas, where, I would get spots or something, or it's just very, depending on which type you have, you look fine. Like, hello, I've got it. And the type I have is the most common type, but I look fine, but sometimes I feel like crap. But because I look like nothing's wrong, people assume I'm just being lazy. Or they assume, oh, I'm too heavy, or I'm too this. They don't know that the battle is in here, which is affecting in here. Anyway, so that was part of my anger. It's just I was so angry with myself. It's like, come on. What's going on? My body is fighting a battle inside, and whatever's happening, it's not letting me know, other than these reactions where, my balance is off, my vision, my memory. It's just, when I was first diagnosed, this was a lot worse because I wasn't taking meds to control it because we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know. When you're first diagnosed with something like MS, it's up in the air about which meds work for you. So it's, try this med. Does it work? No? Okay, try this med. Does it work? No. I tried 4 different meds before I found the meds that I'm taking now. It took 4 different meds. So sometimes it works, and sometimes you gotta keep trying. And after this, I'm going on to another med because this med you can only take for so long. So there's anger. And in the marriage, it's like you need that support. You need somebody there that's just willing to be there for you. And he wasn't. And I know it's overwhelming, and I know the demands. Mind you, he was going to law school and he was working, so he had a sick wife to take care of. He had schoolwork. He had night school to go to. He had a job to go to. All he had to do was just tell me, how you doing? It's okay. I'm right here. This is not very hard. But after a while, I don't think he wanted to anymore. So there was anger at him, anger at myself, and this is the big one. I was angry at God. Now, my religion, it's hard to explain my religion because I grew up Methodist, and my parents converted to being Baptist, and I love God, and I talk with God often. I pray. I just look up and talk, and that's my religion, that I communicate through how I communicate. I don't need to go to church to do it. Anyway, that's enough about my religion. But I was so angry with God that he had put me through all this. And I was like, why are you putting me through all this? Because it came out of nowhere. And the pills I had to take, and just the dizziness, because, as you can see, my eyes are closed, but just imagine your head just constantly spinning and spinning and spinning, and you can see it in the fog of the darkness that's caused by when you close your eyes. I didn't understand. I was just like, why me? Why don't you just take me? Just get rid of me. Just end it now. And, I just was so angry because why was I picked? Why was I chosen? It took me a while to accept all this, and I just held on to that anger for the longest time because I just didn't understand. Now, everybody's wondering, well, what about your family? Weren't they there? Once, we were newly married, so my parents did something that I'm sure their parents did, which was left them alone. They're newly married. They want to handle this themselves. And if there was any sort of situation or problem, they would have called. They would let us know. Because my apartment was here, and the back of the house that I grew up in was here. And the only thing that divided us was a gate, was a fence. And I remember I can go, I was in my apartment. I could look either, well, when I moved to the upper apartment, the bigger apartment, I could look outside my window and see my backyard. In my when we lived in our first apartment, which was a smaller apartment in the same building, just walk around the block. It's right there. So you don't get mad. I'm not mad at them at all. They didn't know. And when I explained everything eventually afterwards, they were kind of upset and mad at themselves because they didn't know. But they're respecting of the fact that I'm newly married and I'm in a relationship with my then husband and we're just trying to build a life. They just gave us privacy. So this is anger. What helped me get over it was after 6 months I started to feel better, and I was angry at myself again for just letting myself be like this. So that's what got me up and around. Now, this is anger. I'm going to end it here. The next time we do this, it's going to be guilt. And I'm just going to talk to you about just how I felt, how, it just overwhelms you. And actually guilt and depression because, no, I'm not going to go into depression. Guilt and loneliness. That's where I'm going. Because the war I was fighting along with my body against my MS was with myself. And just the guilt of not being able to... I was working. I had a job. Boom. I couldn't work. And the guilt of him having to do, this job, go to school. I couldn't get out of bed. I could not move. So he had to feed me. The guilt of having to get up. I mean, our bathroom, I'll explain. Our bathroom was like, if you see my bathroom, this was my bedroom. Just imagine this was my bathroom. Bathroom was right there. The guilt of just getting up. I'll explain. But this is part of the series of intervention where I'm talking about my divorce. Any questions? Like I said, message me. I am me. Whatever. Find me. Let's talk about it.